You will lose in overtime.
Yeah?
Unless you win the face-off in overtime and are able to score 4-on-3.
And the gamble's there, isn't it?
Yeah, but you still have to do it because you're going to lose the game otherwise. But the question is then, does that mean you end up pulling your goalie a little bit later? Because if you pull your goalie with 90 seconds to play...
And score early.
Yeah, you're probably not going to survive that minute. So you probably pull your netminder a little bit later, knowing you can't put them back in. But you still have to do it, because otherwise you're going to lose.
I remember first watching hockey and seeing a goaltender being pulled and going, why doesn't more sports do that? Especially soccer.
Oh, football should do it all the time.
Yeah.
No football team manages the goalkeeper coming up for a corner properly.
No.
They come up for the corner's headed clear, and the goalie instantly sprints back into their net. Why? It's the last 20 seconds. Stay up there.
Is it not a worry about goal difference?
Well, that's the thing. Football is decided upon goal difference. So they only tend to do it in the final seconds. But if you're admitting it's the final seconds and you're gambling that far, stick with your gamble. Stay up.
Yeah.
I think football teams can and will eventually get better at managing that we're down a goal, we've got a corner, it's the last minute scenario. Because I don't think teams practice for it, and I don't think they manage it particularly well.
Which is interesting considering how many games are settled by one goal.
Yeah.
I always just think it's crazy that they don't do that more. But then, is it easier to keep possession in hockey and size of the rink and all the rest of it? But you still think people would still pull their netminder?
Yes, you would, because you're going to lose the game otherwise.
Yeah.
A power play, you score a good team, 20%, so you score 1 in every 5.
Yeah.
So that is essentially, in 10 minutes of play, you're scoring 1 goal. So if you pull your netminder for the final minute, 1 time out of 10, it'll work.
Right.
So, yes, there's 10 minutes of the game when you are scoring, there's 10 minutes of the game when you're penalty killing. There's 40 minutes of the game then, when 40 minutes of the game then, you're probably scoring 2 goals on average.
Something like that, yeah.
So if you score once every 20 minutes with your keeper, and once every 10 without your keeper, you're doubling your chances of scoring.
Yes.
And it's your last chance. So yes, you have to pull your netminder. It's then just a situation of, we've scored, we must win the following face-off.
Yeah.
And keep possession for the remainder of the game.
Does the other team then pull their netminder?
No.
Just to kind of even up the numbers in terms of outfield players?
No, I would rather penalty kill.
Yeah.
And have a netminder than the other way around.
Yeah.
Absolutely I would. Because in overtime, yes, a 4-on-3 penalty kill isn't ideal, but if you get the puck, the net's empty. There's no defenseman back. So your first possession of overtime, potentially you should score most of the time that you have the puck, because there's no netminder to stop you. Wouldn't
you start seeing very stay-at-home defensemen in that position then? You still have free-on-free hockey for overtime because of the 4th extra man, which is basically just try and clumsily netmind. You would, but the same situation arises in most 3-on-3s in that you've only got to beat your man 1-on-1. And then you've got a 1-on-1 competition, and then you've got a 1-on-0. And if the netminder can't stop you, then the defenseman who's on his knees in the crease isn't going to stop you either. That's true. So, yes, you do get some overtimes decided by the first team that wins the draw, keeps possession and scores off the first chance. That can still happen either way. Yeah. So it's not a guarantee of defeat, but it does make you more likely to lose in overtime. Absolutely it does. Can they go back in for the shootout, or is that the most pointless exercise ever? Oh. Because you would never miss. Well, you say that. I think you're right. Or you're going to do a Riley Emerson and skate past the puck at centre ice and never get your shot away. Yeah. That's the only way you could miss. Or Patrick Stefan it and skate in. Well, you could have an outfield player in the net, though, couldn't you? Because the idea is the goalie couldn't go back in. Ah, true, yes, you could put a skater in. Yeah. And then basically what you're doing... do you know what happened with then? Is the goalie would be just super aggressive. They'd come out and try and poke check it away from you and create the reverse momentum on the puck. So the penalty whistle would go, and they'd both skate as hard as they can towards each other in a bid to try and poke it away from each other. I think it'd make penalties amazing. It would. I still want to be on the side that has a goalie, though. Of course. But I don't think it's impossible.
No, but I can't imagine the scenario is going to be. I mean, not even 1 in 10 putting an outfield skater in goal. Now, if you put a defenseman or a forward in goal, they aren't winning you a shootout.
No.
They're just not. Because, I mean, bear in mind, you've got your own goalie at the other end who's probably going to, maybe concede 1 or 2 at worst out of the 5 shots.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you've got forwards who can't score past a defenseman into an empty net?
Do you know what? I think that
3 times.
I think that's the difference in the rule change. I think if it was just the best out of 3 penalties, because obviously the shorter you make the
absolutely reduce the sample size, reduce the chance, yeah.
and that would make it a chance. I think with 5 penalty shots, the class would rule out eventually. But I think with the 3 and 3, well, actually, you only need to score 2, and then you only need to save 2. You only need to have a good bit of luck, and you've won the hockey game.
There's one part of pulling the netminder which has happened before, and I would love to see happen again. It hasn't happened for years, as far as I'm aware. A team that gets a 5-on-3 power play pulling its netminder for a 6-on-3.
Yeah, you never get that, do you?
No, and it's every time I've seen it, I think I've seen it 3 times in my life, it's always resulted in a goal. It's usually been in the last minute, but I have seen it earlier in the game as well, whereby we've got 6 players. Even if we lose possession, we can put 3 players on your puck carrier. You are not getting this puck out of the zone, and you are not getting a clear sight of our net. And when we've got possession, we have so many options, you can't begin to cover all of them. We're going to score here.
That's true.
I think we should. I want to see a way whereby that's encouraged. Yeah. So I think 6-on-3 is brilliant. If you can't put your netminder back in, you're not considering doing it inside the final few minutes. What about the cup final scenario then, which you often get when a team is down by 3 with 4 minutes to play?
Yeah.
It's your last chance. You may as well.
Yeah.
It's a final. You've got to try everything. It's not like another league game where you save yourself for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I still think you have to do it.
Because
you're going to lose anyway.
Yeah. It's that certainty of loss that creates that risk.
Yeah. What it does is it just gives a big advantage in any overtime period to the team that was previously leading. Their reward for being in front early. Not that you should be rewarded for that. It's all about who has most goals after 60 minutes, not when they were scored.
Yeah, but that's interesting though, isn't it? Because it basically means actually the game is only a 59-minute game, really, in terms of advantage and disadvantage, doesn't it? Because if you've got that lead going into the last couple of minutes, your chances of winning massively increase, even though the game itself hasn't changed. It's just the time that's changed.
Yeah, a first-minute goal is worth as much as a last-minute goal.
But it's not.
But it's not in this scenario because a last-minute goal is probably scored with your keeper pulled.
Yeah.
Which is going to give you a disadvantage into overtime.
Yeah.
It's a great scenario, but I don't think it changes much other than teams might just delay when they pull the netminder. Instead of being in that 90 seconds to 60 seconds range with a 1-goal deficit, I think it goes to sort of 60 to 45. Or however aggressive your coach normally is, reduce that by 20%. So that's it for another episode. If you have any comments about the issues we discussed or suggestions for future hypotheticals, then tweet us at HockeyHypo and make sure you leave us a comment and rating wherever you're listening from. On behalf of Stephen Dowson, this is Jonathan Fernley saying goodbye.